Hello and welcome to The Worst Movie Ever Made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind, to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Ockman, joined by my co-hosts and fellow mad scientist Rob Scucci and Bob Hasek. Hey guys, how are you? And why, oh why, are we doing this?
I'm actually in a really great mood on top of the show because I was telling you guys off air, I found a new way to get the clips. I used to run an auxiliary cable from my phone through an interface, so I'd have to line up the timing, and then I had to play it and record it and listen to it in real time as it recorded, and then I had to listen back for any imperfections because it's going through like so many different sources. I found a way to get the whole movie audio into Studio One, and then it's like isolate the minute and seconds, and just drop down the clips I need. So I didn't have to listen to this movie as much as other movies, and what better time to implement this new system than for Cat in the Hat?
Yeah, it's the listening audience might not know, but these movies all came from suggestions from us, just kind of randomly chosen and then voted on by the public. And this one came from me because I heard it was bad, and oh boy, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Was it ever? Holy fucking hell. I mean, usually the Metacritic scores are much better on average than this week. Just another example of how bad it truly is. I'm going to give you the Metacritic scores as I go along and the bad reviews, which I'm going to jump into now because we have a lot to dissect here.
Yes.
So let's just get into that right now, starting with the Christian Science Monitor. I'm actually going to give you 3 this week.
Okay.
And each of them were given a 25 on Metacritic. So Christian Science Monitor says it's a sort of soullessly cheerful cynicism that is about as far from Seuss as one can imagine. Completely. Okay. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone says, talk about your quick buck exploitation. That's all he said. And then Lawrence Topman of Charlotte Observer says, as a British politician said of a corrupt but articulate peer, the Cat in the Hat is like a rotten mackerel seen by moonlight. It shines as it stinks.
Good shit.
Yeah. You got any YouTube comments?
Oh, yeah. So since voting's popular with the show, do you guys want 4 quick ones or 1 doozy?
That's tough.
Listen to your heart.
Yeah, I don't know.
4 quick ones.
4
quick
ones.
Okay. Quick ones.
All right, sounds good. Maybe if we don't run long at the end of the show, I'll read the doozy on the way.
Yeah, read the doozy on the end. Yeah,
right,
I like.
So, number 1, imagine Mike Myers playing Michael Myers, where he's killing people in the cat suit he used in this movie. Cool.
That's awesome.
I love this movie, even though people say it's a piece of shit. Number 3. I'll always and forever never understand the criticism this movie got. Sure, it's not perfect. The mom was kind of unlikable in the beginning, but it's still a fantastic and Seuss-like movie. To me, the adult jokes only make the message stronger. Shame the sequel, parentheses, Cat in the Hat comes back. What's canceled? Frowny face, frowny face, frowny face. And then the last one. This movie actually came out to theaters the same day as Bad Santa came out. November 21st, 2003. I remember I wasn't old enough to see Bad Santa at the time, so my parents took us to see this instead. But I liked it. My parents actually saw Bad Santa in theaters while out on a date with one another, though.
Okay, cool.
Bob, you know when people do math problems and like there's one extra piece of information you don't need, and like they need to point it out to you on the test?
It's a red herring, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I got this week.
My son is up there, and Aaron's at work, so if he is rambunctious, I'm going to have to tame him, which is...
That's fine.
All right, so can we jump into test number 1?
Yeah, let's do it. It's the worst of its kind, right? It's still the worst of its kind?
Is this film the best of the worst or the worst of its kind?
Okay, starting with Scooby-Doo with Matthew Lillard, friend of the pod.
Yeah.
That actually only got a 30, which I was surprised by, although I've heard it's bad.
I didn't see the live action one.
I never watched it.
Okay, well, that makes 3. SpongeBob, the movie.
I've seen everything SpongeBob under the sun this like last month or 2, but I haven't seen the movie.
Well, it has Aqua. What's that, Bob?
It's great.
Is
It
it?
got a
I got to check it
67.
out. Okay.
Has Aquafina in it.
All right.
I don't think anybody would recognize the other people. Yeah, I don't know who she played. Shrek with Myers and Cameron Diaz. 88.
Okay.
The Grinch, which we've done on the pod.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, 49%.
Okay.
Elf with Will Ferrell, 85.
Okay.
A whopping 63.8 for the average. Cat in the Hat. You guys want to guess? Do you know?
40.
Oh, it's got to be low 20.
9.
Oh, okay.
It got a 9 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Straight up 9.
I don't think we've had a bigger difference. Have we? It's 54.8%.
Wow. Yeah,
and
no, that was, at least for this season, that's the worst. Biggest gap we've seen.
I was trying to think of something that came close. I really can't, though. I feel like we had like a movie that was like a 5% or something. Yeah. But I think the average was probably lower than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in bad company. A bit of trivia. Elf came out the same day that this did.
Oh, hey, how about that?
So did Bad Santa. Some kids' parents went on a date when they were watching it.
So this must have been around Christmas then.
November 21st, 2003. I have it. I have it right here.
Oh, that's right. You already said that too.
I'm guessing that's
whatever.
Let's
go to test number 2, the plot pitch.
Okay.
Hey, God, hey, man. Hey, what? You want to hear my movie idea? No.
3, 2, 1, go.
Contractually obligated Mike Myers plays Austin Powers again, but this time for those with a furry kink. We make him raunchy and we sell this movie to kids. It's the Cat in the Hat. Not like the book, though. Nothing like the book. Other dimensions, Paris Hilton, Alec Baldwin. Literally everyone will love this thing. What's not to? Quick script, expensive production, stars in the cast. You can't miss for $109 million. Let's fucking do it. Yeah, baby.
So Mike Myers, is this because he's a comedy actor, arguably, and he knows how to wear lots of prosthetics, and Jim Carrey was like, fuck no, after doing The Grinch? Is that why we're getting him?
Yeah, that's exactly why. And he agreed to do Austin Powers again, almost word for word.
I want to say hard pass. I don't like Alec Baldwin. I don't like Mike Myers.
No from Rob.
I don't think I'd take my kid to see a Dr. Seuss movie with Austin Powers. So, yeah, I'm out.
2 no's. Yeah. Star grades.
I mean, it was a good pitch. It was
a very good pitch.
I'll give it a 3 out of fairness.
Okay, so that's a 3 altogether.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So we'll see how that stacks up against last week. No, but a 3-star.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, let's move it on. We're going to do our little dialogue test. And test number 3, the worst dialogue.
The worst movie ever made presents the worst dialogue ever made.
So I thought that Cliffhanger had some cheesy dialogue, but compared to this, Cliffhanger was the best script I've ever heard.
Before we get into it, can I say one thing about Mike Myers? I want you guys to keep it in your head.
Yeah.
I feel like they were going for like Jerry Seinfeld / Larry David meets Woody Allen for the jokes.
I definitely got Larry David, yeah.
But they got like Bette Midler. So just keep that in your mind while we listen to him.
That's good. I have a couple more comparisons coming up down the line, but all right. So here's what happened. I included 10 lines of dialogue or little segments of dialogue as per usual. However, there were probably even worse lines mixed in there that I got rid of because you would not have been able to tell that it is a descaling, like I don't know what you would call that. I'm working backwards to the worst. If I included every completely horrible line by the time we got to like 6, They would all sound just as bad as one another. So this isn't probably even the worst of the worst all the way through, but I wanted one to really shine.
Okay.
And for a few reasons. So we'll talk about it as we get into it, starting with number 10, the fish, who had a name, but I don't care what the fish's name is.
Yeah.
He's been thrown in a toilet. He lifts the lid of the toilet, and he's in awe of the chaos going on in the house, and he says, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
That's one of those, like, literally no one laughed.
Holy mackerel would have been better.
That would have been better. Yeah. Nice reference to the bad review, Rob.
Too late, Rob.
Yeah, true.
Number 9, the mom right in the beginning is on the phone with the babysitter who apparently left the house. Because when she comes home, the kids don't have a babysitter.
Yeah.
She's talking to her, trying to argue with her to stay with the kids, and she says, "Babysitters sit, baby leavers leave."
Mm-hmm.
Someone had that thought, ran it by, the crew. Yep. Everyone agreed. Let's throw it in there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I say that for most of the lines.
Yeah. The cat. So Mike Myers, he says, "Remember, kids, there's nothing faster than slow," referring to his car, which is an acronym for SLOW. And then he goes, "That's backwards. It makes no sense. Look at you."
Yep.
And like tries to bite Sally, like, but not really.
Yeah, exactly.
He does that like 3 times in the movie, by the way.
Yep.
He says, "Look at you," and then he bites.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the
front tooth bite? Yeah.
Right. Have you guys seen the HBO Robin Williams special?
I believe so.
There's a few of them. I've seen most of them, I think.
So he's like, it's the one where he's super sweaty and he has like 10 bottles of water on a little table on the stage.
Yeah. Okay.
For some reason he fell into, and I don't know if this is true in his movies as well, but you can look out for it. He fell into saying, "Don't be afraid," as his kind of, people normally say, or or like, they fill in the space where they're thinking with some kind of verbal tick.
Yeah.
And that was his in the HBO special I picked up. And I think I've heard it in his movies before as well. This made me wonder if Mike Myers is "Look at you" with a, I don't even know if the bite accompanies always, or if just when he's a cat, he throws the little snarl in there too. But it did show up. I'm not suggesting you watch this movie again, but if you ever do subject yourself to this again, listen for it, because it happens over and over again. And it makes no sense. It's totally out of context. So let's move on to a clip where I could definitely not do an impression of this little segment. Not that my cat was any good, but let's throw it to Chocolate Thunder, Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
Thing 1, Comrade Sally, thing 1. Thing 2, Comrade Sally, thing 2. Thing 1, thing 2, thing 2, thing 1, Comrade Sally, Conrad, I am the cat.
Don't belittle me!
Yes, of course. Thing 2 would like to clarify that just because he wears the number 2 does not imply in any way that he's inferior to Thing 1.
And all of the above.
He says you may feel free to call him Thing A if you like. He will also accept Super Thing, Thing King, Kid Dynamite, Chocolate Thunder, or Dead.
Oh, then.
Thing 1 says he's Thing 1 for a reason, and some people should just get used to it. It's a thing you wouldn't understand.
I need to know what deep shit in his personal life Dan Castellaneta was into when this came out. That's Homer Simpson, by the way, is Thing 2.
Wow.
Chocolate Thunder is Homer Simpson.
Wow.
He doesn't need the money. He must have owed somebody like a very egregious favor to be in this.
Yeah, as did Mike Myers. So said my cousin Todd, who hit me up on Facebook Messenger about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that segment of dialogue is everything I hate about the movie distilled into a less than 1 minute clip. What they really should have done, and they should have done this throughout the movie, in my opinion, is made everything rhyme, even if they didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
Because that would be... Yeah, it would have been more Seussian, right? I mean, that's what we're going for.
Yeah.
Well, he said it early in the movie about how he's not very good at rhyming. I mean, that just killed the whole movie right there.
Yes. Bob, as per usual, you and your crystal ball are predicting upcoming moments.
Damn it! I gotta work on that. I just gotta not talk at all from now on. How about that?
Yeah. You can just when it's only when it's totally necessary for you to pitch in. No, that just goes to show that we're all like-minded on this movie. So good on you. Let's do number 6. The cat says, and you guys know that this kind of shit really bugs me. That I think all the audience knows by now, right?
Yeah.
Cat says, "Kids, meet the dynamic industrial renovating tractor majig." I think it is. And the kids spell it out while they do the acronym for him, and DIRT, because they know to look out for his acronyms now. Yeah. One, I hate the dynamic. It's why work so hard for the acronym? I just don't understand, because they aren't funny at all.
And it doesn't work without captions. If you're in a movie theater and you're like, you got kids with you and you're just like, kind of overstimulated by all of it.
Right.
You're not going to be thinking in acronyms, but when you see it in text in front of you on the screen, it's like, okay.
Then it works.
Yeah.
But barely. I just don't understand what the point is. Is it supposed to be funny, or is it supposed to be clever? I don't know which.
They wanted to get that one shit joke in there.
That's
because he's like, something, and the kids try repeating the acronym. He's like, no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they seem to equate funny and clever as the same thing, and they're not.
No, they're not. There is a line there that one side flirts with the other, but they're definitely different things. Number 5, Sally says, I'm not going to give any context because I just think it's funnier that way. Sally says, "We're going to ride Mrs. Kwan," and Kat says, "Sure, it's the only way to the crate." Number 4, Kat says, "Okay, we've had some good times. We cleaned up the house, and we've even managed to squeeze in an up-tempo pop tune for the soundtrack. That's important." This is what we talked about with Inspector Gadget that destroys kids' movies, and I'm just going to shut up and let you guys talk now.
Just fuck the fourth wall in the kids' movie. Like, just let the kids enjoy the fantasy world without being told constantly it's a fantasy world. Because it's told the kids, because kids are smarter than that. Like, even I didn't see this as a kid, but I've seen movies that have done this as a kid, and you know what they're doing.
Yes.
Like, Tiny Toons did it all the time, and that was a great show. They did it very clever, and they were very funny and animated about it. But the whole thing is they are on a production lot. That was the whole joke of the show. But
right,
Animaniacs, same thing. But when you do it in a way that's kind of patronizing to your target demo, it's just not really.
Yeah, not a studio release. I think they should be far above that.
Yeah,
like stay in fantasy as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Completely agreed. Number 3 is a clip, as per usual. Number 3 is a clip. Bob, you mentioned this one already, but I know don't know the title. It's Fundiferous Feline.
Who are you?
Who, me? Why, I'm the Cat in the Hat. There's no doubt about that. I'm a super fundiferous feline who's here to make sure that you're me-line, key-line, turpentine. I got nothing. I'm not so good with the rhyming. Not really. No. Look, I'm a cat that can talk. That should be enough for you people. I don't even know what's going on. I can talk. I'm a cat.
That's the Bette Midler coming out. I'm a cat that can talk.
Yeah. That should be enough for you people. It's his occasional, very New York Jew kind of sound, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, Bob, you hit it on the head. He ruined the entire movie there. I thought maybe that should have been number 1. He tells you up front that he's not going to be doing the rhyming scheme that made Dr. Seuss as popular as it is. If Dr. Seuss didn't rhyme, everybody would be like, this is too easy. I mean, Dr. Seuss is a little easy because he makes it Aaron has a bone to pick with Dr. Seuss because
he makes words up to rhyme. It's it's cheating.
But not always. There are segments in Dr. Seuss books that I really do like that are actually really good writing. Yes, he makes up a lot of words so that they rhyme together, but that's kind of his signature thing. He was the first to do that. You know, it's kind of like when you're mad at somebody for getting famous, being the first person to think of something that was easy. It's like, yes, but they were the first person.
Anybody could have done it, but he did. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But the writing staff couldn't be bothered to make the lines rhyme, which is like the money grab review that we read earlier. It's that shows you the lack of effort in the movie.
And that's the thing for scripts like this, I think, because there's two ways a movie's made, I think. Someone has a script and they pitch it to a studio and the studio picks it up. And sometimes the studio goes, we're going to make that property that already exists and we got to get a script made around it. So they got the script, realized it didn't rhyme. They spent all the money writing the script and they go, how do we get in front of that? And then they have that one throwaway line saying, I'm not good at rhyming. I think that's probably what happened.
Well, that's exactly what happened. They took a story that was, I don't know, a dozen pages long and made it to a feature-length movie. They had to fill space, especially if they filled it with non-rhyming lines.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bad throwaway line.
This should have been, I don't know, Tim Burton or something.
Yeah.
And they should have gotten a writing squad that cared a lot more. $109 million. I mean, you can't have spent that all on the obvious. Well, I'm not going to ruin any catch-all stuff now because I have stuff to say on that, and I don't want to explore it yet. So we're going to just move on to number 2.
Yeah. I was going to say, I've written shit for 5 cents a word before, and it's better quality than this bullcrap.
I've seen that. I agree.
Yeah. So Sally says, where did you come from? Cat says, how do I put this? When a mommy cat and a daddy cat love each other very much, starts poking his fingers together in a manner that should not be in this film. Yeah. And then Conrad says, no. Where did you come from? And then he says, my place. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
More extremely lazy writing. That's not even a punchline. But then he tops it off with a to get those people who are, I don't know, naive and like pushovers, like suggestible people to laugh with him. Just another glaring spot of we're going to give Dad the raunch. Yeah. Hopefully Dad's an idiot and he'll laugh and convince his family that was a good movie.
Yeah.
On the way out the door. I don't know. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know what the script is.
Yeah.
One more, guys. One more.
Okay, I'll get the drum roll real quick. Here we go.
Burns my
Is that the bathroom?
You might want to hold it for a while. Something like that really burns my
This is amazing! It's like a ride in an amusement park!
You mean like at Universal Studios? Cha-ching!
Yep. What was wrong with that?
It's low effort. It is cash grab. It is self-referential. It is fourth wall breaking. It is not funny. It's inappropriate. What else is there? Yeah. It's a bubbling cauldron of everything wrong with their interpretation of this good Dr. Seuss book. To me.
All right. That's fair.
That's what's wrong with it.
Yeah, you hit all the marks.
Yeah, they sure did. Right there. I mean, you know, I'm just telling you like it is. That's exact. I think that's why it's number 1. I've already used the word distillation, but I kind of want to use it again. It is like the Jurassic Park sap with the mosquito in it, and the DNA, the horrible DNA of this entire movie is in that mosquito, like wrapped in all that sap right there for you. Number 1. It's really bad dialogue, guys. I know there's probably lines floating around in your head. I don't ask for mentions, as you know, because we've got more lines coming up in our worst acting for a different reason. But if anything jumps out at you after test number 4, the worst acting, let me know.
Cool.
number 4. The worst acting. Naturally, we'd use the Catwoman theme for this run. Yeah.
So last week with Cliffhanger, you know how we had that like tortured analogy, as we put it, the soccer striker analogy? This first clip is a little chunky. It may not feel as torturous as that one did. Rob, did you want to say something before we throw it to Fired?
I did say something off air real quick, but maybe I'll do it after the clip.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Fired away then.
Attention everyone, it's 9:02. Staff meeting, look alive everyone. First, I'd like to welcome aboard our newest member of the Humberflube family, Jim McFlinigan.
Mr. Humberflube, I wanted to thank you. Fired. I beg your pardon?
Fired.
But I...
As you know, tonight is our bi-monthly meet and greet party. Tonight's host is Joan Walden. This is where people can meet our real estate agents in an informal, yet hygienic setting.
Mr. Humberflube, I have to get home to my kids.
Ah, yes. Your children. Joan, let me make this perfectly clear. If your house is as messy as last time, you're fired!
That's pretty clear, Mr. Humberflube. Don't worry, I promise. My kids will be on their best behavior.
The thing that pissed me off that I was saying off air to you guys is when she was to her kids saying, hey, we need to clean this stuff up because I don't want to get in trouble. The kids were like visualizing him going, fired to her, but they never saw that. Like they don't have that memory of him yelling fired at people. And
yeah, that would be a total disconnection, which should not be possible.
Yeah.
I refuse to go back and look at that, Rob. I'm sorry. I just would not go back and watch that again. So
no, I don't blame you.
I don't distinctly remember.
I do distinctly remember it, and he's right. I guess I just didn't expect any more by the time that came, that I brushed it off as low as everything else was.
All right, fair enough.
I thought for this clip in particular, because I have a habit of just like ramming the movie again after the clip plays and then not talking about the clip specifically. The part where he gets the handshake, and we are to see that he is a germaphobe, and we get that pretty loud and clear right away. And then he kind of gestures to McFlinigan or whatever his name is, and then he shakes Humberflube's hand. Mm-hmm. And that's when he, under his breath, kind of, but like it escalates, he goes, fired. And McFlinigan is like, what was that? And he says, fired. And then, he, once again, and then I'm not going to do it because you've already had your ears hit with way too much of that volume from him. But I thought it was poorly executed. And then to boot, I thought the mom was, and this is, again, a kid's movie where it's hard because they're trying to be comedic while they're delivering their lines. But I thought the mom kind of struggled there too. Yeah. When she was delivering the, I promise my kids will be on their best behavior. It was kind of, it was a little weak for me.
Mm-hmm. I was actually going to ask if she was the worst actor in that scene, because that's, in my opinion, she was.
She was pretty bad. I don't know. Is his name Sean Hayes, the guy from Will and Grace?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like he's not, like, obviously in Will and Grace he must have been pretty good because the show was super popular. So you don't get there with people who aren't believable. But in this movie, he had to do the over the top kids comedy thing. Yeah. But I don't think he nailed it. And he was also the fish.
Yeah. And sitcom energy is different too, because you have a studio audience like encouraging you and laughing at your shit with like an applause sign.
Yeah.
And it's most sitcoms are generally corny by nature. So like it's a lot of people can get really into the energy, and then when they break off and the show ends and they go into movies, they just can't fucking cut it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to give him a little bit of props. He played Jerry Lewis in a Jerry Lewis biopic, and he absolutely killed it. So I think he's got it. It's just this was not his movie. I don't think it was anyone's movie.
Yeah. Again, I won't tread on this path for too long, but it's one of those like, how do you make a script like this work? How do you make the energy where they want you to be intimidating as a boss, but kind of a laughing stock? It's kind of a hard place to balance. But I also just purely hated that scene. It was at 2 minutes and 47 seconds into the movie.
Yes, it was.
I would have said that is the earliest we've ever pulled a clip, but I think on Demolition Man, the guy that's like, "What are we doing here anyhow?" was like slightly sooner than that. It was like 30 seconds in the movie. Yeah. Anyway, let's throw it to our next clip called the Cupcakeinator.
All right.
To the amazing Cupcakeinator. I'm so excited! Cupcake a what? Cupcakeinator! Oh, this amazing device can instantly make cupcakes out of anything that you have in the kitchen. Wait a minute, did you say anything? Anything. Anything? Yes, anything. 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 I'll get you, and I'll look like a bloody accident. Anything. Now, let's see. Take off the lid. You can put in, I don't know, a carton of eggs. What? How about a pack of hot dogs? Why not? Some ketchup. Why not? I know what you're thinking. Even a fire extinguisher. There we go. Now, close the lid and Bob's your flippin' uncle. What an astounding product! Oh, yeah! Open the drawer. Fill the patented Cupcakeinator tray. Close the drawer. Then plate it in a conventional oven.
Yeah.
So this is where the Austin Powers thing really shines through.
Yep.
Not only is he Austin Powers throughout this movie, but he is Fat Bastard specifically in this scene.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be from England, I think, is the Sweater Cat version says. And our head chef from somewhere in England. I don't remember the city. And then he comes in doing his Fat Bastard Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Which those are two different locations. And it shows... I'm not saying Mike Myers doesn't have range. I just feel like he didn't give a fuck about this movie. So he just pulled his already cemented accents, his Shrek, his Fat Bastard, out right there. But you can't do that. You can't pull the rabbit back out of the hat. We're not impressed anymore, and I think that should fall under bad acting.
Yeah, it's not a great movie, but I really liked So I Married an Axe Murderer. I thought that was a fun movie. It's just, title basically explains the entire plot. But it proves that he has, at least between that and like Wayne's World and the cartoon stuff, he does have range, like you said. But this one, I think that they're just like, hey, you could do all that makeup and not want to kill yourself, and you have comedy chops. Here you go. Here's the script. And it wasn't funny. So, woohoo.
No, they kept absolutely everything in that he suggested. That's what I read that little detail, and it sounds like he had almost complete creative control over what lines made it, what didn't, and he thought he was funnier than the writers did.
So they were probably hoping for like an Anchorman type thing, where like a lot of that was improv, but it was like by people with serious comedy chops and knowing that it'll be super quotable. Whereas in this case, it was just Mike Myers. Yeah,
and for Anchorman, I heard that they would go into like, I forget what they called it, but they would go into like a whole half hour where they would just like throw out lines. They would record it and they would film it, but they would just a 30-second scene was actually a half an hour of them just throwing out bullshit. And a lot of it didn't stick, but they would actually catch some stuff where Will Ferrell was like peak Will Ferrell and said something really funny and like on point, and then they would keep that. It sounds like Mike Myers just came, this came to mind, and so we'll go with it.
Yeah, because that's how ever since the Black Album, that's how they make like drum production, for example. It's like you're going to do 200 drum fills, and we're going to cut and paste them until we find the one that fucking slaps.
Yeah.
And in this instance, you just did the one take, and they're like, it's a keeper.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's another big problem with this movie.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about going to our next clip? It's not our last. It's our last for the worst acting, but we actually have one for most offensive.
Okay.
Which is how you know when a movie is offensive, when the clips start to spill over there. So let's do Canine American.
Excuse me, sir. I'd like you to sign my petition. Yeah.
Get out of my way, you hippie freak.
Are you aware of the senseless wholesale slaughter of the flatulating acid-spitting Zamzizaru? Yeah.
What will it take to get you out of my face?
Just sign my petition with this large, oversized pen that requires 2 hands.
I see. Will you hold my dog?
Okay, I have a problem with the word dog. I don't use the D word per se because I think it's really, really wrong. Yeah. But I will happily hold your canine American. Yeah. More comfortable with that, really. Yeah. Okay. How much is that canine American in the window?
I was just staring at the fader the entire time that was playing, waiting for it to finish.
Counting down the seconds. Yeah, I went back and forth on whether I should worst dialogue this one or worst acting. I honestly, I just didn't. This is one of those instances where I was like, the dialogue's terrible. The Canine American thing just really pissed me off. But also, I didn't feel like he really got I feel like Matthew Lillard, friend of the pod, guy that we mentioned earlier, comes up on every pod, would have done that character better than he did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He didn't do very well, but also I didn't think Alec Baldwin was particularly convincing there either. But I don't think he gave a shit either.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
The last thing that I have on this test before we go to Rob's ad madness for the week is that I thought that the kids were better than everyone else.
Yeah.
I thought Dakota Fanning was pretty good, and I don't know the other kid's name. It's like Spencer or something. Yeah. He was okay. There were moments where it was a little cringy, but kids are bad generally. So yeah, I gave him some credit, and Dakota Fanning's always good. So,
well, generally speaking, when you get kids who are that young, I know Dakota Fanning has obviously got a lot of chops, but they don't know any better in terms of what's gonna be passable and what's not in terms of an audience. So I think when they're told what to do and they do it that well, good on them. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, and they got the adrenaline of their parents just standing in the dark corner going if you don't do this fucking right, I'm gonna fucking murder you. So they have that going for them too.
So Rob, do you want to throw it to whatever's going on with the ads this week?
Yeah, so we're going back to the old form real quick. Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by potato in the producer's muffler while the car is running in his garage. What kind of potato? Russet. Is the garage attached to the house? Of course. Are they tied up? Yeah, zip ties. Hopefully they don't make a daring escape that is then adapted into a film and then becomes a bumper on this show in the coming weeks. That would just be amazing foreshadowing. Potato in the producer's muffler while running in the garage. It's not really self-incrimination if I'm pretending it's a joke.
All right, cool.
We'll see what happens.
I feel like they didn't send you that one. I don't know.
No, I mean, it was in an envelope sealed with a kiss.
All right, cool. Well, we'll look forward to the conclusion, the sequel to that one. I guess.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. If they make it.
Let's go to Bob Hassick's Fact or No Fact.
The Worst Movie Ever Made presents Fact or No Fact.
Okay, welcome to Fact or No Fact, and this week's segment, Fact in the Hat.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
Which gives us 5 bits of information which you guys have to discern the actual fact from. This was not the easiest week to come up with facts on a movie so horrible. Like someone mentioned in a text earlier, it's hard to feel anything after watching a movie like this, especially creativity.
Yeah, someone did say that.
Fact or no fact number one: Alec Baldwin did not want to be in this movie, but he was in a 2-picture deal with the studio and was contractually obligated to star. Okay, second fact or no fact, we have one of the bizarre and sudden musical interludes originally included a very brief Cat Scratch Fever by Ted Nugent, but was eventually cut. Okay. This is a third one. Mike Myers suggested that elements of the cat's personality resemble his future love guru character, but the director rejected his suggestion. Fourth one, the cat suit was made primarily out of yak hair. Possible. And the last one, Dr. Seuss's widow was so appalled by this film that she said that all subsequent Dr. Seuss adaptations had to be only animated. Okay, so we have Alec Baldwin not wanting to be in it. We have Cat Scratch Fever, Love Guru character, yak hair cat suit, and Dr. Seuss's widow saying no more movies.
You're really good at these because these are all actually kind of convincing.
These are.
So
I thought these were all bad, but go ahead.
I'm gonna knock off yak hair because I think it's like 2003. It's kind of we're getting towards that progressive area where like if word got out that it was actually yak hair, people will get really pissed off and like firebomb the studio and kill like a lot of people over like one animal's worth of hair. Baldwin, I'm gonna knock that one off because he's got enough sway to his name to get out of a 2-picture deal. I think if he really wanted to, he can get out of it. Regardless of contract, he would just break the contract and like pay the fee or whatever. Cat Scratch Fever is tough because that is plausible that they wanted to do it but couldn't get the rights from Ted Nugent because I hear he's a real fucking bastard about his rights. I don't believe the Love Guru one. Actually, I kind of do because Myers does have that kind of ego where he thought that'd be a good idea. And then the animated one, I'm going to go with my gut. I have it between the animated Dr. Seuss's widow being appalled by it and Cat Scratch Fever. And I think I'm going to land on Cat Scratch Fever because that's just a rights thing. And if they already maxed out their budget, they probably couldn't get the Ted Nugent catalog or something stupid like that. Rob,
these are my two as well. But only because I liked 3, and the yak hair suit actually I liked because I felt I'm going to agree with you. And as soon as you said like this is 2003, I was like, oh, they could probably just come up with some faux hair that they wouldn't have to actually shave a yak to get the hair for the suit. But my naive first opinion was yak hair. That makes sense. But I'm gonna cat scratch that one out the window. But the cat scratch is the one that I'm debating between that and Dr. Seuss's widow because, like I said, my cousin Todd said that Myers was contractually obligated. So I think that Bob just put Baldwin in that space instead. So I'm gonna just kick that one. And I just don't believe the Myers Love Guru thing because I don't know how much later that is, but I don't feel like Myers was in the Love Guru headspace at all yet. But that's my. So between Rob, what did you go? You went with Cat Scratch?
I'm going with Cat Scratch Fever. Yeah.
All right, I'll go with Dr. Seuss's widow then. That'll give us a shot.
Okay, so here's where my information came from. The Grinch movie that you previously reviewed.
Yeah.
That suit was made out of yak hair.
No way. Okay. What year was that one?
2000.
Okay.
So maybe they just didn't have the faux yak hair capability yet.
I guess not. Or yak hair is just shaveable and they grow it right back. Then let you know.
That could be.
Not yak fur. You were right, Chris. I did conflate on purpose. Alec Baldwin was not a 2-picture deal, but Mike Myers was.
Thank you, Todd.
And Mike Myers actually also did So he was supposed to make a Dieter or what do you call that? Sprockets movie. And the studio said no, like they didn't like the script.
Was that the SNL thing?
That was the SNL thing.
Okay, yeah.
And,
Where he's like a German.
Mike Myers, he was supposed to do that movie, and because he was contractually obligated to do a movie, they asked him to do this one. He said, "Sure, as long as I can bring on my director and do all the shit I want to do." So yeah, that's why this movie sucks so bad. I will blame Mike Myers 100%. He is the reason the movie was so bad. Love Guru, I was close. That was actually Linda Richmond. His SNL character was what the character was based on.
Okay.
Oh, remember the coffee talk?
I don't know.
Oh, coffee talk. Yep. I know what you're talking about.
That's who his character was mainly based on.
I don't know it.
What's that leave us? That leaves us Cat Scratch
I think that leaves us. Yeah, the two that we picked.
Widow and Cat Scratch.
I completely fabricated Cat Scratch Fever because because it was a cat.
poor Rob. This was the deciding week. Rob had to run the fucking table. Oh my god.
I like Taco Bell. It's gonna work out for me. I'm okay.
Oh yeah.
No. So that answered a question for me though, because my daughter was born in 2003 when this movie came out. So we saw a lot of these movies in the theater when they were little, and they were all animated, and I never figured out why they suddenly switched to all animated, and that's exactly why. They were sued.
Yeah, that's really funny.
I was thinking it was possible because didn't they just reboot The Grinch like recently, like a couple years ago, or in the last year or so?
Yeah, but it was animated. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Yep. Wow. So they can never make another one? They can never make a live action.
Never.
Holy shit.
Mike Myers will be on his deathbed knowing that. I ruined someone's legacy so bad that other people aren't allowed to touch it anymore.
Well, good honor. I totally agree. They shouldn't, because they suck when they do that.
Yeah.
So. And I feel like, the other one they made, I think, after this was the Lorax. Right, and then they made Horton Hears the Who, and they're both animated.
Horton Hears the Who.
But I bring up the Lorax because I feel like Conrad's sweater was a nod to the Lorax. I don't know if you guys...
It was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I saw the colors and the little wisp of yellow on the orange, and it felt that way. So let's move to test number 5, the most offensive.
Damn it! I am tired of being Santa Claus! You get your together and you get your ass in the damn car. We're going. Now, damn it. Okay.
That beat fires me up every time, and you guys both need to listen to Death Grips at some point in your life.
I might have to, yeah.
It's the drummer from Hella and some angry MC who's always shirtless and just yelling. It's fucking amazing.
I've gotten a lot of musical suggestions lately because I just started a new job in a kitchen, and we listen to blaring music because the kitchen's on the other side of the brewery from the where we sit, so we can just blast music, which is great. Nice. So I've got a really long list, and I hardly ever listen to music, but because you're my co-host, maybe I'll rocket you to the top.
One night when you're closing down, just do No Love Deep Web by Death Grips.
No Love Deep Web. Okay,
it'll change you for the worse.
I think I just got my morning commute for tomorrow. Death Grips. Yes.
Perfect energy. All right,
Sweet.
so for the
perfect energy before you teach a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what you want before your death grips around their throats. Okay, number 1. I couldn't watch Conrad's mess making for the Steriluge. He takes a fucking bowl of apples and throws them on the counter, and they spill all over the floor. Then he grabs a bowl of peanuts and just dumps them everywhere. He grabs stuff out of the fridge. He pops popcorn. He grabs a loaf of bread, takes one bite, and throws it. It was so frantic that it really bothered me. Because no kid is that careless. They're going to try to at least contain the mess. They're going to be messy, but they don't want to be in trouble. So,
no, Chris, we must have a personality trait that is similar, because I had the same exact reaction to that. I had a hard time watching the entire thing. I'm like, oh no, why but there's no reason that he took the bread. What's he? Like I really had a hard time watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thought was like I'm a progressive parent. I'm like very, I try not to say like no or raise my voice to my kids, but like at what point do you just smack the fucking shit out of your child for doing that to your house?
Yeah, it's fine because he's wearing fucking Pop Secret on his face, so it won't even hurt. Number 2.
If I came home and saw that shit, oh my god, go on, continue.
The mom openly admitting that she sometimes wishes Conrad wasn't her son was extremely offensive to me.
Yeah, that set me back. That gave me a what kind of face.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, this movie is pretty fucking offensive. Number 3, it's funny because Mrs. Kwan is fat and Asian.
Yeah.
That's the whole joke. Poor lady. I think she's actually played by a much younger comedian who I forget the name of, but it's like Molly Ray or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, it's offensive that we're like she doesn't get any lines of dialogue. We're supposed to just laugh because she's overweight and she's Asian, which is offensive.
How do you do a casting call for a role like that? It's like, oh, we need a fat ass who's like just a bumbling idiot. We need like 300 of you. We're gonna pick the best one. Like, do you like pull the little piece of paper off the thing and like walk into the studio and be like, I'm fat? How does that work?
You're not fat enough, Ken Jeong. Take your ass out of here. All right.
If you've seen casting calls, they are shameless.
Yeah.
Oh man, I kind of want to like. Is there good YouTube cringe footage of casting calls? Because I kind of want.
I'm just saying, like the actual the mailer they send out, or like the email you get. It's like it's ultra specific. It's like you must weigh between this, and this, and you must have this kind of hair pattern. I mean, it's very specific.
All right.
You must have yak hair like qualities. Number 4, the cat boner for mom joke.
Yep.
He looks at her picture, and then his hat goes, right?
Yep.
Not funny, offensive. So I wrote this down and then jotted it into the outline without. So I don't. I probably shouldn't even say it because I don't have good backing for it. If you ask me to explain it, I won't be able to. The bedwetter tap it with a hammer joke that the cat makes to the kid. It is a like I know that you're wetting the bed, but he's talking about like the naughty kind. And he's saying hitting your wiener with a hammer is not going to do anything for that. Which is talking about like a 10-year-old boy's wiener, which is not very offensive.
Nocturnal emissions, as they call it.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Like hitting it with a hammer is not going to help the joke. He's 10.
It wasn't a joke.
Bob, until the first time, is speechless.
until you mentioned the fact that it could have also meant the other kind of bedwetting, I didn't understand the joke. So maybe you're right, and I didn't
get it either.
That makes it so much worse. Oh my god!
That's how I took it, and I was appalled. To be honest with you, Bob, you're usually so articulate. You struggled there at the beginning.
You were the one person that got that joke. So
you're the target audience, Chris.
Yes,
you'll be getting a royalty check from the studio.
This is really carving a negative picture about me that I didn't understand the fucking Hamlet joke in Inspector Gadget. But I got this. All right. I thought kids signing contracts is kind of offensive.
Yeah. There's been kids that have been shut down by authorities for having lemonade stands because they didn't have a fucking license. So it doesn't track.
This one's obvious, but the plumber humor.
Oh, bad. Yeah.
This was a direct violator parallel for me.
Yeah.
I looked away. I know it was fake, but I still looked away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 8. I have 2 more, and one of them is a clip. But number 8 is mom never leaves the job. I felt like the setup the whole time was for her to realize that work isn't as important as her kids are. And we got half of that when she validates her son at the end. But then she goes right back to working for Humberflube, who is a total dickhead.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought she was going to be like, you know what? I need to, do something else that I'm more passionate about, and it gives me more time for my kids.
Yeah.
Because that was the setup.
There was a planned sequel that never came to fruition, so maybe they had that in mind.
Maybe. They should have.
Let's give them more credit than they deserve. So
probably
please continue.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, we're going to go to our last clip of the day with Son of a.
Your tail.
What about it? Oh, I see. I've chopped it off. Well, that's interesting because son of a
This is actually not the only one. Alec Baldwin also says about Conrad in the beginning of the movie, son of a, but then he says mother that I adore completely or something like that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't start the word bitch.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk in the catch-all after the shitcoin a little bit about that. But this is one of those things where the kids either know exactly what word he was about to use and you're like saying it's okay to use it.
Yeah.
Which is what's wrong with that whole thing. Or the kids are going to ask their parents how to finish that sentence. And the parents are going to have to struggle with that.
It's like all those self-help books that have like F***CK in the title. It's like you're trying to be edgy, but you're really not trying to be edgy, because if you were, you'd just say fuck or shit.
Right.
You'd say the word. So like you're showing what you're willing not to say in order to get the publishing deal. So the subtle art of not giving a fuck is really like, well, you do kind of.
Clearly you do. That's a very good point.
Yeah, good point.
All right, let's go to the shitcoin.
Oh, yeah, I got it pulled up right now. Let me just get to that section. This is by Mason Jack with 2 Ks. Okay. Here we go. Hello, how are you doing today? Well, I didn't mean to bother you, but I do love to spend a few minutes of your time. I want to share with you a topic that benefits both parties, can I?
What have you got there?
Are you familiar with binary option trading program?
Like 2 options?
This is how it works. When you invest an amount, we are capable of making you a particular range of profit, say 79% to 88% of your investment for 5 days in a week, after which you get the first payout subsequently pending on the need of the client. This profit is plowed back into trade to make more money. This is repeated for a month period, after which we will place a second withdrawal order for the client indicating how much he/she wishes to withdraw. He/she will then be asked to submit his/her profits.
Oh, really? I have someone saying that I should do binary with them for 95% profit in a week. Should I go with them? Seems like a faster, bigger turnover.
Sometimes profits grow more than expected depending on the market and signals of trade. You're trading with the help of a professional expert with 7 years of experience in this field.
Honestly, I'm not sure she's truthful.
If you trade according to the signals forecast, your constant earnings is warranty as long as you send 10% for commissions once you make any withdrawal from the platform.
Where are you from?
Mason here from Florida, and you?
See, she says she's from California, but she sure doesn't sound like it. I'm from Florida too, Northport to be exact. What city are you from? ?
I'm in Tampa. Your name, please?
We're both West Siders. I'm Dennis, smiley face. What's your name?
Nice connecting with you here on Instagram. Mason, do you have a Bitcoin wallet?
I'm Dennis. Dennis Bingle. I said it like James Bond. No, not yet.
Blushy emoji. If you're trading first, you need a Bitcoin wallet because that's where you earn your profits and withdraw to your bank account.
Okay, does Target sell those? I have one about a half mile from my bingo bungalow here in Northport, Florida. I should probably get leather, lasts longer.
No. Which county are you currently? You could download Wallet from Google Play Store.
I'm currently America, so I'm feeling bipolar.
Okay.
Oh, it's not a real wallet.
Download and install. Abra. Download from Google Play Store and create wallet.
I have to 3D print it, right?
No, just install and create account.
Man alive, I'm mixed up. So download the app, right?
Yes. Send a screenshot once you're done.
And then go to the bank and open a new account.
No.
You said...
Have you downloaded?
You said create an account.
Open app and create wallet. Register with your details.
Create a wallet.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Dennis Bingle is out to lunch. I think I get it now.
Thumbs up emoji.
Number 1, online app store. Number 2, create an online wallet for Bitcoin. Number 3, go to the mall and get Bitcoin gift cards.
No.
No?
I send you a link to abra.com. Click here to create wallet.
I tried that. It just thumbs up.
Because you liked it. Okay. Okay, send a screenshot once you're done. Register with your details.
I clicked where you said click here, and I thumbs upped. That can't be right. What now?
Register with your details.
At the mall? At Target? Where?
Click here and send a screenshot. Let me show you.
I clicked where you said click here. I thumbs upped. That can't be right. What now?
Register with your details.
At the mall? At Target? Where?
Click here and send a screenshot. Let me show you.
I think you're playing Ring Around the Bingle.
Thumbs up.
I'm getting a little TO'd.
Okay.
That's where it ended.
I love how you could tell where they start getting irritated with you, but they're trying to be polite because they still want to grift you.
Yes, definitely. They really lose patience.
I like how you can't say ticked off. You say TO'd.
Yeah.
And I like Rob's blushy emoji. I'm gonna call it that from now on.
Yeah, the blushy emoji, because what I said clearly wasn't funny, but they had to acknowledge it.
They had to emote somehow.
Yeah. All right, let's do the catch-all, guys. So I'm just going to run through my list. Anything that jumps out at you, hit me with it, and feel free to add when we're done too.
All right.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Neighborhood Scissorhands ripoff.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys felt that way, but as soon as I saw the Neighborhood, I was like, this is a Scissorhands ripoff. Totally.
Yeah.
Rob, I think you kind of mentioned this before, but Alec fucking Baldwin. Oh, no, you were talking about the Homer guy, but for me, it was Alec Baldwin. I was like, what the fuck is he doing in this movie?
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't notice till earlier the Dan Castellaneta thing, because he does like half of the adult males on The Simpsons.
Yeah, right. He's one of those with range voice actors. Right?
He hasn't had to work since the 90s, and he's been working on the same show that made him all that money since.
Right, so...
What's he doing a Thing 2 cameo for?
My guess is it didn't take more than a day to record all the parts he was in.
Yeah, and his daughter really likes it or something, like one of those.
Yeah, that could be.
It's like you've talked about, it's a paycheck, you just take it.
Yeah.
That's true. I do the same. I'm not going to lie.
This bothers me about a lot of movies, and I'm gonna go with It. The first It, the newer. I'm talking about the new two, not the made for TVs with Tim Curry. The first It, I thought actually was a spectacular movie, and here's a big part of the reason for me was that they didn't explain where Pennywise came from. He's just this like clown, that's running amok under the sewers eating kids, and that's terrifying. The second It was completely ruined because what they decided they needed to do was give us all the background on the clown that gives you the mythology that isn't believable, and all of a sudden the clown is no longer scary. That's how I feel about those two movies.
It's a big problem post-2000, the whole origin story, where it's like, how many times are we going to see Peter Parker get bitten by the spider and his Uncle Ben die and all that stuff happen? Where it's like, dude, we all know at this point it's part of the zeitgeist. Just like, show him doing the Spider-Man shit.
Yeah.
And we'll all be happy. You don't need to waste the first 45 minutes doing that.
For me, it's much, much better if you don't explain the supernatural elements. They are what they are. Don't try to make them believable, because you're not going to succeed. You're just going to put the glaring flaws in front of the audience.
Yeah.
Yes, and reference the Star Wars prequels for that one too.
Yes, that's another perfect example, honestly. But for that, that's why I said too much unnecessary background, because we don't need the extra dimensional cat universe that he's from.
Yeah,
or any of that crap. They should have spent most of the time in the house. They could have gone into the neighborhood and fucked up the neighborhood some. And then going back to the house, and you find out that the cat the whole time was just messing with them. And, as long as they learned their lesson, you might have had a moral story that they can get behind. And you didn't need all this.
Yeah.
But I felt like they needed to stretch the movie, and that's how they decided they were going to do it. And it really was crappy for the movie. Heavy The Mask vibes also. Like, the hat kind of operates as the mask does. He can create any scenario he wants to, including the moment where he's like a Cuban woman with the like the mask does the same kind of thing with his Cuban Pete or whatever. I'm the King of the Jungle Beat song, Only the music in The Mask is much better.
Yeah, the whole swing band. I love the swing band in The Mask.
Yes, same. And to use your term swing, I'm going to swing right into the musical numbers are very low effort for the Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What are they, 45 seconds each? And there's two of them?
Yeah.
And not a single cat scratch fever.
Was it getting better all the time? Was it the last number?
Yes, and I think it's like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
it's like on the lawn.
It's one of those things where I've never seen this movie, and I just from watching like this crap my whole life, I was just like, that song came out, I'm like, they would. Like, it was just like, they would with that song.
Yeah. Yes.
If there was a love scene, it would have been Smash Mouth. I saw her face, and now I'm a believer.
Yes, right.
And getting better all the time because they're making something better. Like, very low effort, like you said.
2 on the nose. How did the lawyers work? They seem to be like human, like, mustachy lawyers from this dimension that understand how the cat dimension works, or they're regular human beings that exist in the like only fun paradise dimension that's actually chaos and blah blah blah. So I don't really know where they're from or what they do.
Well, the fact that you're asking that means they were on scene too long. They should have been on the first cut when they said lawyers, and then that was the joke, and they should have disappeared from that point on.
Yep.
Like that's
so that I didn't spend time thinking about it.
Exactly. That's basic cartoon comedy right there. Is show it for a second for the joke and then get rid of it. And they left them on there. That was a big mistake.
Agreed. And well said. I hated the a line. I don't mean online. I mean like they were clearly on a like support line when they're jumping on the couch, but not just there. That's just the prime example. Kind of animation. This is kind of a worse graphics sort of deal. But when they're jumping on the couch, it's very clear that they're being pulled to the ceiling by a cable that they just got rid of in post, as you do, Rob, for your audio, and thank you for that. But yeah, it looked like shit, and a lot of the animation to me had those like it's obvious what you're doing kind of.
Yeah.
For $109 million, what did they spend it on? Not the script.
Yeah.
Not like Myers, he was already contractually obligated.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Who knows? I also hated the look of Thing 1 and Thing 2. Very Who's from Whoville.
And just annoying. Like, I know they're supposed to be obnoxious. They are in the book.
Yeah.
The book that you could read in 5 minutes and then move on with your life.
Not
the movie that's...
Chris said that he completely agrees with you, Rob. And the look of them, the feel of them, everything about their energy, he hated. I said all that just now with that little thing.
Yeah.
That's not how piñatas work.
No.
You don't all... One, no kid's going to have a giant black cat piñata. That's fucked up that you're like beating a cat to death.
Yeah.
2, you would notice it's not the same piñata. And 3, you don't all join in, as some kid says, like, let's all join in and beat the piñata because somebody wins the piñata game.
Can I also go on record that kid with the spiky hair whose piñata it was, he's in other things. and I hate looking at him. He looks so fucking stupid. He's got a dumb face.
I wasn't going to say it, but
I want to hit him with a fucking shovel. I'm going to go on record saying that.
Well, you almost got your wish because the cat really wanted to hit him in the back of the head with that baseball bat, which should have been the most offensive.
Yeah.
Assuming he's an adult.
He just looks like the kind of kid that would come over, like, because we have young kids, and Bob, you have kids that are a little older. Correct me if I'm wrong. He seems like the kind of kid that would come over on a play date and like just shit all over the bathroom, miss the toilet completely, and then like sneak home, and then you'd like find it an hour later, and be like, "What the hell just happened in here?" And like, you know it's him, but you can't prove it.
I get Ray the Fridge energy.
Yeah.
You know, he would just be the kind of kid that like just feels comfortable like eating the bologna straight out of the fridge or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like you might be friends with his parents, so you have to have him over, but you know just by looking at him he's gonna do something shitty to your house.
Yeah. Exactly. Moving on.
The other dimension graphics where it's like they open the crate and it's like stairs and jelly.
Yeah.
Totally fucking crazy. And Rob, you mentioned this. The super hydraulic instantaneous transport.
Yes.
It spells out SHIT, but as soon as Conrad tries to say that, the cat says, no.
Yeah.
Really funny. Really funny. The flow, its replacement, never appeared to be moving fast enough to what is the word? To give them the credentialing that I say that word like it's a word that they need for the panic that they have when they're in the car. Every time you see the slow going as fast as it goes, it looks like it's going, 7 miles an hour on the street. But they're completely flipping out, like they're about to get in a life-altering collision.
It's like the O.J. Simpson chase when he's going like 20 miles an hour on the highway. He killed us.
Like he's not like the chase. They're not passing any cars in the lane. There's cars passing the cops and stuff. All right, so I mentioned Austin Powers a number of times, but there was a scene where they go into like the different dimension nightclub, and it was an exact copy of the Austin Powers 60s nightclub scene where he goes into his nightclub and everybody has like Austin Powers like gear, like merch on basically in the 60s club, and they all think he's really cool. Well, the Cat in the Hat and the kids go into that like club, and all these people are wearing Cat in the Hat hats. And then that's when they see Paris Hilton, where Mike Myers' cat character can't help himself but turn around and start flirting with Paris Hilton. Yeah. It was exactly like the 60s club in Austin Powers, and it made me feel like they were either trying to shout it out or they were that lazy that they just stole it, and I didn't know which, and I hate them for it.
Fair.
And it was bad taste. I mean, come on, a fictional cat flirting with I don't know,
bestiality. Yep.
Yeah.
It was just like him oogling or ogling, whatever the word is, over the mom's photo when it folded out like a pinup picture.
Yeah, the centerfold bit
it leads you towards Inspector Gadget, what's his gadget kind of deal, questions that you don't want to think about.
Yeah.
Like, is it in the hat?
Yeah.
Like, because then he might have parts that look like Steven Seagal's ponytail too.
Oh yeah,
but I guess we won't go too far into that either. This is nothing like. Yeah. All right. Well, I just figured if he had balls on his head, he might have an asshole on the back of his head. So.
Yeah.
This is nothing like the book. Nothing fucking like the book, and I hated it. I put it at the end of the catch-all. There's a couple more. You guys want to say anything on that?
The book's out of your life in 5 minutes, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And this is not.
Yeah, on either count.
The kids are at the end not afraid that the house is going to collapse in on them, even though structurally it has been compromised to the point where you should be rushing out the front door.
Yeah.
Here's a trope for you. The cat says he needs a vacation at the very end.
Yeah.
How many fucking movies have we done where they say they need a vacation?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Lastly, the moral of the story. I wrote piss poor moral of the story.
Uh-huh.
What is the moral of the story? It's supposed to be like Sally, you need to be more fun, and Conrad, you're just fun, and that's fun. And as long as you have a good heart, I'll clean the house for you, and Mom will go back to work. And I just didn't feel that sense of resolution, kind of like last week with Cliffhanger, where you didn't feel like things were resolved. So I'll leave it there.
If you're good at deception, you can get away with whatever you want.
Yeah,
that's not really a great moral.
If you have a magic boner hat, you can fix any problem you have.
No, you're right, Chris. There was way too much to resolve that was never resolved. Even down to Alec Baldwin's character. I mean, there was he barely got his comeuppance.
I thought he died, and I thought that was too much, but he didn't die.
No. No, but you're right. The resolution just wasn't there in almost any way, which almost was two things. One, the sequel, which is possible, or the fact that they just were too lazy, which I think is a combination of the two.
Yeah, I agree. It's a blend. It's like those butters that aren't really butter, but there is some butter in there.
Yeah.
It's like butter
Can't
and water.
believe it. Yeah.
I feel like I can't believe it either, Rob. But
yeah. It's like you need Jesus to turn the butter into wine.
Yeah, I am going to just throw it to the worst production because I have nothing else to say on the matter.
All right, here we go.
The worst movie ever made presents worst production.
Okay, so when I was thinking of worst production for this film, I had to throw it to a compliment, because I was really searching for a compliment this entire movie. And I thought the set design in general was pretty beautiful. Like, I'll say, like, in terms of like trying to make it as much Seussical as you possibly can.
Yeah.
I thought it was beautiful. And the director was actually chosen because he had experience in set design. I read that.
Okay.
But the real production flaw was, in my opinion, writing and directing. And they usually don't go that hand in hand, but Mike Myers was contractually obligated to be in this movie because he had a 2-picture deal. And his caveat was, I want the director I was supposed to have for my Sprockets movie to direct this. And that director happened to be very good at set design, but unfortunately was not very good at anything else. And what I read was Mike Myers had him in his back pocket the entire film. And as much as I've read also, the cast, the crew, no one was happy with Mike Myers in the entire production. They thought he was tyrannical. They thought he was a bit of a diva in terms of just what he needed to
I've heard that too on multiple accounts.
Yeah. I actually one of the reviews that I read, the critic had mentioned that something about him not refusing to speak to anybody but the director.
Right, and so basically, when they made The Grinch in 2000, it was what's his name, Ron Howard at the helm. He rejected all of the adult jokes. Like they still filmed them. Basically, the same amount of adult jokes they had in The Grinch, in Cat in the Hat, they had originally included in The Grinch. But Ron Howard said, no, it's a family movie. We're going to reject all those adult jokes. Well, the Cat in the Hat basically said, no, we're going to take all the jokes they rejected from The Grinch and throw them into this, which is exactly what they did. And so every adult joke, every adult reference was allowed through into the final cut.
Bob, can I mention one specifically that I don't think we ever mentioned, and it just came.
Yeah, sure, of course.
When he jumps the fence and he lands on a piece of gardening equipment, and he says, "Oh, you're a dirty hoe."
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he throws it away, and then he's like, "I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean it." And then he goes to lick the gardening tool before the kids call him away. That is another one that should have been the most offensive. I don't know why I didn't put it there, but it speaks volumes to the point you're making.
No, I'm glad you brought it up because it's very true. Like the director basically seemed to rely on a script that was heavily leaning toward adult humor, which ultimately destroyed any connection to the source material.
Mm-hmm.
The source material was Dr. Seuss.
Right.
And so, and just to add one final nail to his coffin, this was the first and last movie that he directed.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. That's like the director of Senseless, who had said that she didn't know why the fuck she was in the movie industry in the first place, and she would never go on to make another movie after that.
It's pretty much the same thing. So before you ask me, because I already spent enough time talking, I do think production-wise, this is worse than Spawn.
Okay.
Agreed.
I will agree, because I feel like the acting and directing here is as piss poor as you could possibly imagine. I feel like that's a worse demerit than a lack of scene sets and things and color and things of that nature. So we'll just write that score down, and I'll review it again in a couple when we go over the movie comparison. So do you guys want to now move it to the alternate ending?
Yeah.
I did not forget this week, Rob.
Cannot wait.
And I'll never forget.
Or you can do this, or you can do that, or you can do this, or you can do that, or you can do this, or you can do that. Just pick one.
Conrad has lead poisoning, and this whole experience is all in his head. Sally, Lawrence, and Mrs. Walden send him off to military school. The drill sergeant breaks Conrad's spirit, and he gets beaten with soap in tube socks after several donut-related footlocker incidents. Conrad murders the drill sergeant, but only before turning the gun on himself. The rest of the movie takes place in Vietnam.
I love it, man. That sounds like a hit movie. I don't know.
Yeah. Can we get a really good director on that one?
Yeah, we're gonna need a good director. I agree.
Let's get Christopher Nolan. He's been good on the pod so far.
Not Bo Welch or whatever this guy's name was.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right, let's do bad credit names.
All right.
This week was all right. The last one's another doozy. So the champ this week is pretty crazy.
Okay.
Starting with Tim Boot.
Okay.
Jeff Jingle.
I like it.
Sherry Perry.
Okay.
Aww.
Pud Cusick.
That John Cusack's like
dog.
Dim cousin.
Christopher Schneck.
Okay.
Oscar Roscoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
T. Fouts. Just T. We're not allowed to know.
Yeah.
John Cucci.
Okay.
Coupled with, I'm going to put these two together, David Hyman.
Yes.
And finally, our champion this week, in my opinion, and it's humble, but I think you might agree.
Okay.
Rapey.
What is it?
Rapey porn Rod Shampoo.
That's the winner of the entire run. That's right there.
I hope you're pronouncing that exactly as it is.
Let me spell it for you. RAPEEPORN.
Rapey porn. Okay.
Rod Champu. RODCHAMPU. Rapey porn Rod Champu.
That poor kid's middle school life.
I can't even imagine. I don't care where you're from. It doesn't matter what country you're from.
Yeah. That's one of those kids where it's like, you know how like I'm Robert John, I could have been like an RJ.
Yeah.
This kid's going like, call me RP. I'm RP or something like that.
It certainly can't be rapey. You can't just shorten it.
No.
All right, let's compare the movie.
I tutored a kid named Streeman, and I'm thinking to myself,
oh, that's rough.
I know, and I'm thinking the parents were not born here, but they should know.
They should know. All right, to compare the movies, we have Spawn and Cat in the Hat. Spawn, and we're gonna do these tests live for what we haven't discussed yet.
Okay.
So, worst of its kind. This one's pretty obvious. I mean, it's not the worst of its kind for Spawn. Negative 25.4. It is the worst of its kind for Cat in the Hat, negative 54.8. So there's no debate there. That wins. There is a debate here, though. Bob would make Spawn because it only cost $10 million.
Yeah.
Rob would not. And the plot pitch got a 2-star.
Okay.
Does that overtake the no from both of you, but accompanied by a 3-star for Cat in the Hat?
No, because, I mean, my opinion is it's a double no. And also the percentage gap is way higher.
It's a full star better of a plot, but you both said no. So Bob said yes. I just don't know if that's enough to overtake it. I feel like Spawn might win this.
I agree with Rob. I think the split vote on the will you make it or not is carries more weight than
so Cat in the Hat is worse.
Yeah.
Okay. Dialogue, was that worse for Spawn or Cat in the Hat?
I'm gonna go Cat in the Hat.
I am gonna agree.
Okay.
Because not only was it really bad and the jokes didn't land, it's also like if you were expecting it to rhyme like a Dr. Seuss, and it also didn't do that. That's like the extra disappointment was like the icing on the shit cake.
Good point. I'm gonna go Spawn for acting though. Purely
totally
based on
agree.
Wanda.
You would.
That's tough because, like, I'm not an Alec.
Go
ahead. No, you go ahead first. I gotta still think.
No, I do feel like the acting they were assigned to do, they did exactly as they were assigned to do, and I feel like Spawn, they were assigned to be badass and tough, and they were none of those things.
I'll agree with that because what I was going to say was, I'm not an Alec Baldwin fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I know he does have chops.
Yes, he definitely does, and he wasn't that bad in this movie.
Yeah, but it's just like even him, I'm like, really, man? So I think Spawn's got the worst acting. I think like what Bob was saying, they're kind of painted into a corner and had to work with their script and direction. So Spawn would be worse.
So we unanimously agree that the acting was worse for Spawn.
Yeah.
Okay, well, before we decide, we're going to throw it to our little mini game for the most offensive. Violator skid marks or cat raunch?
Cat raunch.
Cat raunch.
Everybody's had skid marks before. It's fact of life. It happens.
Forcing parents to answer all these questions, the Cat in the Hat does. Or, this one's rough. The white diversity quota of Spawn that we hadn't mentioned, where they make Terry, who is not supposed to be a white character, just so that people would go see the movie because studios were afraid that they wouldn't if the entire cast was black.
That's more offensive to me. I'd say.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so it's 1-1, and the backup that I have for you is the sequel setup for Spawn is relatively offensive, or Mrs. Kwan as a whole for Cat in the
Hat. I guess Mrs. Kwan, because she served no purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, Mrs. Kwan, because they were hoping you would laugh at the fact that she was heavy and Asian.
Yes. And that's very offensive.
Just to clarify, too, they didn't need to do that because there was no babysitter in the book. It's just the kids alone with the cat, right? Hey guys, this is Rob. Sorry for bumping in here post-production style, but we lost some audio to the show. Nothing content-wise, basically the part where we announced the movie for next week. We will be watching Double Dragon. That's Double Dragon, there's 2 of them. That's one more than one. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming. But remember, next week we are watching Double Dragon. It's a double thing, so you have to do it twice. Okay, talk soon. Bye. The plug would be theworstmovieevermade.com. Everything is there. Our podcast is there. Our email's there. Our socials are there. Find us on TikTok, Instagram, etc. All at theworstmovieevermade.com. We didn't run too long once we get rid of a little production pause we had.
My bad.
do you want to hear the last YouTube comment before I play the theme song out?
Yes, but
yeah.
I have to pee.
All right, I'll wait for you to pee, and then come back, and then we'll do this, then we'll go home.
My apologies.
Oh, you're good. Okay, let's do this. All right, so here is the last YouTube comment, and then I'll play the theme song, and we'll go home. R.I.P. Kelly Preston, you was a good actor. You did Jerry Maguire. Your name was Avery Bishop. And then you played Gotti, 2018. Your name was Victoria Gotti. You played Twins. Your name was Marnie Mason. You did For Love of the Game. Your name was Jane Aubrey. And you played The Cat in the Hat. Your name was Joan Walden. You did The Experts. Your name was Bonnie. You played Mischief. Your name was Marilyn McCauley. You did What a Girl Wants. Your name was Libby Reynolds. You did The Last Song. Your name was Kim Miller. You did Space Camp 1986. Your name was Tish Ambrosier. You did Old Dogs. Your name was Vicky Greer. You did Battlefield Earth 2000. Your name was Chirk. You did Sky High 2005. Your name was Josie Stronghold. You did Secret Admirer 1985. Your name was Deborah Ann Fimple. You did Jack Frost 1998. Your name was Gabby Frost. And you did Christine 1983. Your name was Roseanne.
My
Let me just kick Craig off real quick. Yeah, so I'm not sure